Hello everybody and welcome back again. We have now reached the semifinal stages at US Open and we have 4 players: Rafael Nadal, Matteo Berrettini, Grigor Dimitrov and Daniil Medvedev in the semifinals. 3 of these guys are a big surprise for me that I have reached the semifinals. Rafa is the only one that I expected, and I have him as my winner in this tournament. And with Roger and Novak gone, his chances increased the double. And I am almost 100% sure that Rafa will win this one. But he has 2 matches left, one against Berrettini and then the winner of Dimitrov Medvedev. And this should be not a walk in the park, but Rafa won't lose this because Rafa is a beast. He grows the deeper he goes into the tournament. You all know that. With that said, let's dig into this and talk about the preview. But before we start the preview, I want to give a shout out to a dear YouTuber named The Sports Debate, TSD, the Sports Debate, a guy named Tamil Saleh, if I pronounce it right. Otherwise, you have to excuse me. He has a superb YouTube channel with great sport information for you if you like all kind of sports. Football, tennis, Formula 1, you name it. He's there. He knows that. He talks about it. And please check out his channel. The tennis debate, the sports debate, sorry Tommy, I try my best here. But anyway, I'm gonna give you a link down below so you can watch his tremendous videos. And also a shout out to my dear great friend Interi, the best tennis YouTuber out here, the guy with the best knowledge, passion, etc. You name it. These guys, if you want to talk tennis, he can talk tennis for hours with you. He's such a nice guy, great person. I consider him as a good friend of mine, and I'm happy to know him, especially when we share the same passion about tennis. Alright, my folks. Now to start with, in the quarters, we thought everybody that we're gonna see the first Nadal final because a guy like Dimitrov is a guy that Roger has never lost to. 7 straight matches, and then something happened that we didn't know. Roger had some back pain injuries, but he went out on the court. He tried his best. He didn't leave a walkover. He didn't retire from the match. He has actually never done that in his career. He have withdrawn with walkovers but never retired during a match. And credit to Roger Federer that he forced Dimitrov to go to a 5-set battle to defeat him. But he played, he was 1 set up, 2-1 set lead, and then Dimitrov fought his way back into the match, and the 5th set wasn't exciting at all. He won that fair and square, very comfortable. Grigor Dimitrov, who is the baby Federer, the light version of Federer. Now he has the biggest chance in his career to reach a Grand Slam final because he won't face Nadal, Djoko and Federer in a semifinal. So his chance was looking very good to reach the final, but he has a great opponent in Daniil Medvedev, a guy that he has met twice before. I think they are 1-1 in head-to-head, but they played last time in 2017. So, and that year, we all know, that was the best season in Grigor Dimitrov's career, where he ended up as the ATP final winner and reached, I think, the 3rd on the ranking. But anyway, he's not that player anymore. So, but he has a chance to defeat Daniil Medvedev since he's here now. Now is finally the time for him to step up, because he has been hyped so many years as the baby Federer, but we haven't seen that, unfortunately. We saw a little glimpse of that in 2017, but he's very consistent like other guys in his generation, like Berdych, Nishikori, and Raonic, to name a few, and soon we can put Zverev in that category also. But anyway, he did a solid match against Roger. He didn't do a super performance in that match, actually. It's like that when you play Roger. Roger can sometimes give the match to you, unlike Nadal. Nadal will never beat himself. You have to take out the best tennis that you have in your body, plus an extra 10% to beat Rafael Nadal. That's how you beat Rafa. He won't do these terrible matches with 60, 70 unforced errors, or doesn't take advantage of the breakpoints that the breakpoint chances that the opponent gives him. Rafa is not that kind of a guy. He gets beaten by a better player for that day, and usually it's Djoko and and Federer. Those are the guys that have beaten him repeatedly. He has had statics to his favor against Federer, but trails to Djokovic. But that's a tight battle. But anyway, there are some key points to why Roger always, when he loses, gives the match to his opponent, because the match is in his racket always from the start. With his level, with his power that he have, he always have the match in his racket, but he uses, when he loses, he never loses in 3 straight sets to this low-ranked opponent. That has happened maybe 1 or 2 or 3 times in Grand Slam. But anyway, the key point against Dimitrov was his serve. With this back injury, if everything is true about that, he felt some pain. He perhaps maybe took some painkillers. He felt something that wasn't correct, but he went out to play anyway. His serve didn't work. He only made 6 serve aces. And Roger's biggest weapon is his serve. He has a serve that Nadal and Djokovic can dream about. And then his returns. He wasn't aggressive enough on Dimitrov's serve. But let's face it, he's a light version of Federer, but his serve is no way near Roger's serve. No way near. He has maybe the same serve rhythm, but the serve is nothing like Roger's serve. So I don't know why he couldn't be more aggressive on his serve, especially on Dimitrov's second serve. And that was also a key moment in the match, and mostly all of his matches, because his returns are not horrible, but they are not okay for a player with his caliber. But anyway, he won't change ever with that in that section. It won't get better than this. It's not terrible, like I said, but it could be much better. And the third thing was his breakpoint conversion. If he took advantage of 90% of his breakpoint opportunities against David Goffin, this performance was poor. If you compare it to that, he only converted a couple of his breakpoints there, and he had opportunities. I forgot the numbers because I barely look at the numbers and stats when I look. I see the match, I make my conclusion. But anyway, the third was the breakpoint conversion, and even if the guy names is Dimitrov has not been in the top spot, in the hot spot for 1.5 years now, it's not enough. You have to be good on all these 3, especially to beat. You can't expect every set go to tie break and win. But anyway, I don't want to take anything away from Dimitrov. He did a superb match by his standards. He didn't do a super performance, but he played good enough to beat Roger. Roger was on his 100% capacity, and I'm afraid to say this again. I think Roger's best chance of winning his last Grand Slam was at Wimbledon, where he had the golden opportunity, and you all know the story. I'm not going to talk about that. It still hurts. But with that said, I'm going to jump into Matteo Berrettini. This young Italian dude, I think he's 24 years old. He has won 3 titles in his career. He won in Stuttgart earlier this year. He made a good grass court season before he lost to Roger Federer in Wimbledon, where Roger basically schooled him. And then I thought his bad form in the hard courts tournaments before US Open, I thought maybe he won't do a superb run here in US Open, but he dug his teeth into these matches before. He played good, and the match against Gael Monfils was a great match to watch. The spectators really got value for their money in that match. It went to a 5th set with the 5th set tie break. It was exciting into the end, and Gael Monfils seemed to be a little bit injured in the beginning of the 2nd set, where he hit his foot in one of the post there, and that seemed to affected him in the 2nd set and a little bit in the 1st set. But then he went back and was strong to win the 4th set, and he could have reached his 2nd semifinal in here in US Open, I think, because I think he reached there one time before. But like we all know, Gael Monfils have the game. He has the power from the forehand back, and he has a great serve. He have good shot selection. But his biggest challenges in his career is to stay fit and injury free. This year he started very good this year by winning Rotterdam, and I think he reached another final. And he has played super good this year, actually, if you count the first quarter of the year. But a guy like Monfils, you all know, he's very inconsistent. You can never trust his level. Never. That's why I have never won a Grand Slam, because he have this huge game. He has this power game that can result in a Grand Slam win, but he's unstable. He's inconsistent. He has not the mindset, the right mindset. So he lost that game fair and square to Berrettini, who has a huge serve, huge backhand, huge forehand, good shot selection. He slices his backhand good. He has a flat backhand also when he changes direction from the opponent. And he has nerves. He doesn't choke. But he's still young. And now he's going to face Rafael Nadal. And what can he do, and what are his chances to beat Nadal? To be honest, Nadal will make you work for this week. If you want to beat him, you have to work. You have to do something exceptional. And I can't see Berrettini get through Nadal. Because Nadal, he will play on his weaknesses. He will make him go run around from corner to corner. And the key moment in this match will be Berrettini's serve, because he needs all the 3 points he can get from Nadal. And Rafa knows that the serve is one of his biggest weapons. If he can break him 1 or 2, get his teeth into the match, he will have this victory in his pocket. But let's face it, Berrettini and Nadal, they are 2 different players, 2 different playing styles. We have Medvedev's style, who reminds of Djokovic. He's like a wall. He can ball from the baseline for hours. And then we have baby Federer, Dimitrov. To beat Nadal, you have to play like Novak Djokovic, or the performances that Robin Söderling made against him in French Open 2009. That's kind of tennis you have to have huge serve, huge ground strokes to get Rafa, give Rafa no time. Take time away from Rafa and then you have a big chance. That's what they did. And of course, Roger Federer. First strike, ultra offensive tennis. That's the third option, how you can beat Rafael Nadal. Because the only thing that's standing in his way now is an injury. But Nadal got a walkover in the second round against Kokkinakis. And then he had some easy matches against Millman and then Chang. And then in the fourth round, I forgot who he met. But against Schwartzman, there was a different story. Even though the numbers say 3 straight sets, this match went back and forth, if you look at the 2 first sets. Because Rafa was up in a 5-1 lead. And then Diego managed to block him back. And in the second set, he was 1 break up there also, Rafael Nadal. But Schwartzman showed the fighting spirit of a lion. And he came back. But he wasn't good enough. Because, like we all know, if you have seen Schwartzman's play, he has a huge game from the baseline. Good forehand, good backhand, good angles. He can move you around the court. He can hit winners. But he lacks of a good serve. Since he's not that tall, his serve is not the big weapon. And you need the serve. You need the good serve. And then you can have a super serve also. But you need a good serve to win against guys like Nadal and Djokovic, because they are good returners. They will punish you if you don't have a good serve. And that's why he always fell short against Nadal and Djokovic. And of course to Federer also. By that you can say that Schwartzman did what we all expected from him, especially me, because I had him in my quarterfinal preview. I knew that he will get the first good one, or in the first, second, and third round, and then I thought he was gonna meet Kachanov in the fourth round and maybe have a tough match. But Kachanov hasn't been a good player this year, so he didn't even come to the fourth round. So Diego did a good, superb tournament, and I want to praise him. He's very watchable. He has played some good tennis. And then we have the other semifinals between Daniil Medvedev and Daniil Medvedev and Grigor Dimitrov. Daniil Medvedev have this powerful baseline game. He created many winners against Wawrinka. But it was a strange match in my eyes, because it seems like he was giving up. He didn't run. He conserved his energy. I don't know what mind tricks he played there, but I think Wawrinka was a little bit confused also in that match. But Wawrinka wasn't near his performance against Djokovic, and the Wawrinka we all know, the Stanimal. He spread those forehands and backhands all over the court. He played with small margins, and when he doesn't hit right, when he doesn't hit clean, he makes a lot of unforced error, and that's what he did against Daniil Medvedev. He was around 40 unforced errors. And his serve is huge also, but he couldn't benefit from that also. But what can I say? Wawrinka is Wawrinka. He's also inconsistent, but when he's in this beast mode, nobody can beat him. None. His power tennis is just too good. He hit holes through every opponent. And big credits to Daniil Medvedev for... It seems like he struggled a little bit, so I don't know his status. Has he fatigue? Is he tired? Is he injured? Have you played too much before US Open? It's good to have consistency and know that you have done good results before. But will this be enough to win against Dimitrov? Yes. But against Nadal? No. That's a totally different nut to crack. So Dimitrov, he knows he has his biggest chance of reaching a Grand Slam final with none of the big three in his way in the semifinals. He beat Roger, of course, but now he has the best chance to reach a final. And with that mindset, I think he can damage Medvedev, because he plays like Federer, and a player with Federer's game style is a bad matchup for a guy like Medvedev. Just look at Daniil Medvedev's last year meeting against Roger Federer in Shanghai, where Roger was basically schooling him from the baseline and from the net on every area of the court. So I'm not saying that Dimitrov doesn't have a chance. Medvedev is the slight favorite. He should be, consider what he have done, how he have played. But Dimitrov sees his chance now, so he will probably make a superb performance now. If Dimitrov plays normal play, I think Medvedev will win this one and reach to his first Grand Slam final. So my slight favorite, not overwhelming, is Daniil Medvedev. And that's based on how he has played the last couple of months. Because we know that Dimitrov is a super talented player with all the great shot selection in his body and in his arsenal. He has huge potential. He has a huge game when everything works. But he has fallen off the map a little bit. And now with the early easy matches and withdraw in the, I think it was in the third round, he has got his teeth into this tournament. He has gone deep now. He feels that he's one of those guys that can reach the finals. Yes. And like I said, Rafa will be hard to beat. He doesn't defeat himself. That's the problem. So we have 4 players left. I wish all of them to make their best performances. We know already that Rafa is gonna perform. He's gonna do like he always does in every match. The best player point in and point out. Medvedev, a new talented guy with huge weapons, especially from baseline. He can keep the ball alive for a long time. And then we have Berrettini, who is I think a little bit mix of Federer and Djokovic in his playing style, because he has huge serve, huge ground strokes, great shot selections. It's going to be interesting how he can play against Nadal. Maybe he's tired, maybe he gets some new energy, I don't know. I hope he put up so good and give Rafa at least a run for his money, and not give anything for free in that match and choke. And that will be interesting to see. And we have Dimitrov, the baby light Federer, who can cause another upset here. Daniil Medvedev is a guy that he can beat. And if you saw the match against Schwartzman, my last thing I'm going to say in this video, you saw that Rafa is human. He's beatable. You can beat him if you are more consistent. That's the problem with today's generation. You have to be consistent to beat these top guys, especially a guy like Rafa. Roger and Novak can disappear from the match. They can disappear for 5-10 minutes, and then you get the chance. But Rafa is always there. Just look at in his eyes. Look at his body language. You know that Rafa is going to perform either way. And that's hard for his opponent to digest. But enough about that. I hope you're enjoying this video. Take care and have a nice day, my friends. Bye bye.